Welcome to the FantasyFling DFS channel. Take a break from the season-long commitment and join us for all things daily fantasy sports. DraftKings Daily Drafts, the newest and hottest DFS deals, and all the best ball and DFS content you can handle. All right, let's dive headfirst into this episode.
All right, welcome to the channel. This is Fantasy Fling. We are looking at the daily drafts. Taking a look back, we're going to start with weekly winners. Best ball meets DFS. See what won last week, week 11. This is something I like to review each and every week so we know how to attack it for next year, as this is a new contest. And then we're going to look at the daily drafts winners in week 11 and then jump into week 12 strategy, some of my favorite plays, and do a quick live draft. So let's go ahead and start it. Jay Walkendorf, the weekly winners won 20,000 last week, 180 points. This was a Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey stack. Oh, and Kittle. Yeah, figured Kittle was going to be in there too. So, makes sense. Christian McCaffrey obviously gets a lot of targets out of the backfield. He got 18 points. He was also able to get Barkley and Jalen Warren in this lineup, specifically Barkley and McCaffrey, two stud running backs there. Obviously waited on quarterback, getting Brock Purdy, and then, really hit it with the wide receivers too this week with, some of the late round guys, Tank Dell, Khalil Shakir, Tank Dell being the rookie, Khalil Shakir, being a boomer bust option. Got Keenan Allen as well as, the early round quarterback. That's kind of the meats of the lineup. And then Kittle, Chicken Conquo, and Darren Waller at tight end. So the next guy, E. Walling, 84. This is second place, had a Brock Purdy stack as well, Christian McCaffrey. So more of the same lineup. Ridley, this one had Ayuk though. So Ayuk, McCaffrey, and Kittle. So yeah, it was actually a triple stack with Brock Purdy and was just 2 points behind the winner. So almost got there. And then let's see what third place did. So very close as well, just a fraction of a point behind second place. This one was Trevor Lawrence. So Lawrence, Ridley, and this also had George Kittle. So you see why this one went off. Tyreek Hill, Tank Dell. So really just the wide receivers that kind of carried it. And also Barkley and ETN. Wow, pretty surprising to do so well with ETN only getting 7 points. But it was really the Trevor Lawrence stack that, kind of ended up being the nuts over, a lot of DFS contests, specifically on like DraftKings. So let's look at the live. Let's go to the live drafts, daily NFL results. God, it's so hard to find these sometimes. So let's look at the Battle Royale week 11. What won? Guessing it's going to be more of the same, right? So Trevor Lawrence was the quarterback with Calvin Ridley. And, these Battle Royales, you're only drafting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots. So it was a Ridley stack with Trevor Lawrence. Doesn't look like there was a bring back. You had Jamar Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, Tyreek Hill, and George Kittle. So just studs everywhere. Obviously, probably went Tyreek Hill first. Yeah, pick number 2. So went Tyreek Hill first, and then was able to get one of the premier tight ends in Kittle. Was able to complete the Trevor Lawrence stack, which was, something you would have targeted later. Yeah, pick number 26. So it's not something you got right away. And then Gibbs went pick 11, and Saquon went pick 23. Yeah, no one seemed to want to get Saquon this week, but certainly paid off for this lineup. Let's see what Rich had. So Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, and Ayuk and Kittle. So there we have it, the triple stack, just the onslaught team stack. Good enough for second place. And obviously Tank Dell and Barkley as well, which we've seen they smashed. And let's see what third place did. Blue Brothers, Purdy, Ayuk, and Kittle. So wasn't able to get Christian McCaffrey. Went wide receiver first with Tyreek Hill, but was still able to win 6K with Brock Purdy, Ayuk, and George Kittle. So the double stack there. And no bringbacks on the Tampa side, but Devin Singletary, very strong play as well. Let's go ahead and do a little draft. We're going to do the Battle Royale. Is this not available this week? You know what? I don't think I am looking at the main slate. Battle Royale might have been filled already. I guess so many people are off this week that they've just been drafting like crazy. So let's do the mini Royale. So my top quarterbacks on this slate, it's really Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen in that game environment. Let's see, we got one more person. Okay, so let's start. So in that game environment, has a high total 52 or 48 and a half. And, both of these teams, I think, just bring enough firepower that this game could go back and forth. Obviously, Philly has the edge here at home. They're slight favorites, but I like playing both sides of this game. So if I have a chance to take Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen early and stack them with either AJ Brown or Diggs, I'm likely going to do that. So let's see. I'm picking fifth here. So I'm picking right towards the end. And I guess we will just see how this baby falls. But Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts are going to be my top quarterbacks. The other game environment that I really do like, and I might just wait, in all honesty, is and to attack that other game environment is CJ Stroud and Trevor Lawrence. That game has a 47-point total, and both teams could be attacked through the air. Specifically, Jacksonville, they are a pass funnel, so really like the Stroud side, and Houston, they're just not very good in the secondary. So, the Trevor Lawrence side of that, I think will be good stacking as well. So we started this off with AJ Brown and Stephon Diggs. So, that's a stack that I'm not really looking to force at this point because it seems that's what the field is looking to do. So I'm probably going to wait. And then we're going to take Dell. So honestly, if Kelsey's available, I might just take him and stack him with Patrick Mahomes going against Las Vegas. So we'll see how this. Oh, he just went. So do I take Jalen Hurts? Do I take Jalen Hurts here? I guess you could stack him with Devonta Smith. Maybe bring back with like a Khalil Shakir. I'm not entirely sure. I think I'd rather get ETN in this spot and maybe play the Stroud side with like Nico Collins and CJ Stroud. I just don't know that. I think it's kind of more of an AJ Brown week, bouncing back, stud coming off a dud. So I'm not really trying to force a Devonta Smith stack. So we ended up getting Jalen Hurts and Kamara. I could come back around and grab CJ Stroud. So like I said, that's the other game environment that I wanted to attack. Houston and Jacksonville. So I get CJ Stroud. Obviously, Tank Dell's off the board, but I do like Nico Collins. I also like Dalton Schultz. Nico Collins really and Tank Dell have right about the same target share on the season. So, everyone is all on Tank Dell because of recency bias, and I get it. He's great, but also Nico Collins could go off any week as well. So he actually got more targets last week than Tank Dell. All right, so running back I think is going to be tricky this week. So I'm glad I was able to get ETN right away because there's a lot of landmines this week. Jonathan Taylor is projecting well, but he's actually in a pretty bad matchup against Tampa Bay. But yet, over on DraftKings, looking at the chalkboard, and Jonathan Taylor projects to be the highest owned. So I would expect a lot of that in these drafts as well. So that's probably going to be an avoid for me. I do think there are a little bit better spots. So Yeah, we'll see what is popping now. Kyron Williams is a guy that I really like. If we knew he was getting a full workload, but coming off of his injury, it's really hard to tell. So, I think if Derrick Henry is available, he's probably the guy I will take with one of my next picks. We'll kind of see how this board has fallen. I think Nico Collins is down there, so I could probably wait on Nico and take like Derrick Henry. I think that's probably where I will lean in the spots here. Yeah, Derrick Henry is going against the Carolina team that you just cannot throw the ball on. So I think this sets up really well for Henry. They are a pretty good team to attack via the run. So I like Henry in this spot. Not a bad draft. I feel right away started out with two good running backs this week, Etienne and Henry. I got CJ Stroud. So now I just got to go grab my wide receivers. So I got wide receiver and tight end. I think, based on kind of what we saw, like I said, it's going to be Nico Collins for me. And then I think I can certainly double stack it with Dalton Schultz. So what we're seeing so far, Jonathan Taylor went off the board, Kyron Williams, which was good for me because then, I didn't have to consider taking him with not knowing what the snap count's going to be. Bijan went off the board, Kincaid, Adams, Puka Nakua is gone. And so I got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I could take another wide receiver and then a tight end. So let's see what's going to be left for me here. Could be a good bounce back spot for Cooper Kupp. So he won't be there when I pick. But I could totally see Cooper Kupp bouncing back in this spot. Apparently, he is good to go. Jamar Chase, gosh, when's the last time we saw Jamar Chase fall this far? If Joe Burrow was playing, Jamar Chase would have gone off the board a long time ago. This is a great spot for him. But yeah, let's kind of go through some of the guys that I like. Obviously, went through the quarterbacks a little bit. I think Kyler Murray would be a contrarian play going against Los Angeles. Like I said, I like both of those game environments. Patrick Mahomes, I think, is kind of going under the radar. They have a really high implied team total. They're 10-point favorites. Vegas is, quite bad. And I like it because it's condensed target share now with Mecole Hardman's on IR. Tony's out this week. So I think it just sets up really well if you can, stack Patrick Mahomes with Travis Kelce in this spot. And, not a ton of the field is going to be on them. So that is the spot I certainly would go. All right, so I think I'm going to get Schultz here and complete the double stack. And then we got one more spot. I'm going to take another wide receiver. There's a couple guys really that I like here. I think you could do Calvin Ridley, Cooper Kupp. I'm not expecting him still to be available in one of these next two picks. Looks like, yeah, he's gone. But other than that, and there went Singletary. So, yeah, I think Cooper Kupp's expected to play tomorrow. That's going to be my pick. So, I like what I did with this draft. I got the CJ Stroud double stack with Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz. I got Travis Etienne as the bring back there. Was able to get Derrick Henry in a good matchup, Cooper Kupp as well, and projected to play tomorrow. So I think overall pretty good draft here. Like the chances, like the game environments, like the matchups. But yeah, let's kind of finish off some of the best plays that I think this week. Kind of illustrated a couple of them there. I like Derrick Henry in that matchup that he has going against Carolina. They've just been a team to target against, 4 running backs. So that's been a running game to target. I think couple other guys, maybe that I didn't mention in addition to ETN is, just kind of direct leverage off of what a lot of the field is going to be playing. And that's, Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk. I think ETN's a good leverage spot. Isaiah Pacheco, they're big favorites going against Las Vegas. They probably won't have to do much. So even though I do like, Mahomes and Kelsey a bit, I think the most obvious play there is to just play Pacheco. So like him, Rashad White would be in a really good matchup this week, but apparently, he's kind of popped up on the injury report and he's now questionable to play. So, I'm not too sure what to expect there, but if he does play, I think that would have been a good matchup. And, Kyron Williams, like I said, if you're willing to embrace the uncertainty, I could totally see just waiting and nailing Kyron Williams with one of your picks. If he ends up getting a full workload, he can easily smash on the spot. DeAndre Swift in that Buffalo game, he's a guy you can get late, and I like him because that is a good game environment, and Buffalo can be beat up on the ground a little bit, and Swift's, got pretty good volume this year. So that's a game environment I certainly want pieces of. And Jonathan Taylor projects well, but like I said, it is a tougher matchup. So at wide receiver, the top guys is obviously AJ Brown and Stephon Diggs in that matchup, which is why you saw them literally go off the board here, as you could see at 1 and 2. Tank Dell is a guy that I obviously I think is in a great spot, and I might have stacked him with CJ Stroud. He's the primary stacking piece, I think, but the fact that he went early, I was perfectly happy with Nico Collins, who I think has a smash game in him as well. So, I like Devonta Smith as just a way to get different in Jalen Hurts stacks as well. So if you did Hurts to Devonta Smith versus AJ Brown, it certainly can get Devonta Smith a lot later. Where did he go here? He went at 13. So Michael Pittman has a really good matchup against Tampa Bay. Their pass funnel. Pittman is the number one guy, so I like Pittman. But Josh Downs is a guy you can get late, and he should be ready to go this week. So, he's had some pop games this year, so like him. As far as Jacksonville pass catchers, Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley, it really has the ceiling. Kirk has been good, but, we haven't seen a 20-plus point game from him this year. But their target share has been about the same. So Calvin Ridley would be my favorite, and I would actually prefer Ingram waiting at tight end and stacking him with Ingram versus Kirk. But Kirk overall is pretty good. Couple value guys, and talked about Dell and Nico Collins. A couple of value guys. One that stands out, Robert Woods. He's a guy you can get late. He's get about 20% target share, so he could definitely pop off and be that secondary piece in a CJ Stroud stack if you didn't get Nico Collins or if you didn't get Tank Dell. Also Schultz, as I showed, as I'll get to the tight end here in a second. Demario Douglas, he's a wide receiver 1, and he's going against the Giants defense that just leads points to the opposing wide receiver. So he's a guy you can get late. And also Greg Dortch with Michael Wilson out, specifically in Kyler Murray sacks, or just kind of as a one-off that you can get late. He got about, I think, 8 targets last week. So he's a guy that I like as well. And Josh Allen sacks, Khalil Shakir is a guy that will boom every now and then. So I do think, specifically in game stacks with Hurts and Allen, I might take a shot or two on Khalil Shakir if you're doing a lot of drafts. And then, at tight end, it's Travis Kelce's the top guy for me. And then it's McBride, Dalton Kincaid, Dalton Schultz. Obviously, I prefer him and Ingram in stacks of that game environment. And David Njoku is a guy who's got a really good matchup against the Broncos. They bleed opposing points to the tight end position. So Njoku is probably, it's Njoku and Ingram are 2 guys that have really good matchups this week. That's, when you're going with tight ends, you could certainly get towards the end. So that's going to do it this week. Appreciate you watching. If you like this kind of content, please hit that like button. Comment, let me know, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button so you never miss an episode. And got a lot more content coming your way from basically this point now on. So going to be doing NFL content every week, showdown content. Going to be doing more of these daily drafts. Want to get involved in a little bit into the drafters one as well. And then XFL, USFL, whatever it's going to be called this next year, I'm going to be covering it on this channel. Did really well in that last year, was quite profitable, a lot of takedowns. So super excited for that to come back. And then we'll be jumping into best ball content this summer. So definitely stay tuned. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to smash that like button and subscribe. You know you don't want to miss what's coming next. We really appreciate it. And we'll catch you in the next episode right here on the Fantasy Fling DFS channel.